Welcome to the Intrazone Roadmap Pit Stop September 2024 edition. This is a bonus monthly show that answers that burning question in your mind. What's rolling out now for SharePoint and related technology in Microsoft 365? I'm Mark Cashman, Senior Product Manager at Microsoft, here to help set the ongoing record straight. This month, I've got a bunch of SharePoint, Copilot, and OneDrive updates just for you. We're going to focus on everything that landed this past month, a few related items, and always the fun teasers looking into next month. This podcast is your 30-minute pit stop to stay ahead of the ever-curving Microsoft 365 roadmap. Okay, it's time to kick back and get informed about all the tech that rolled out in September 2024. First up, we're going to start with the broad scope area of employee engagement. That is when you have a big, broad message, and in this case, a big, broad message that you want to look and adhere to all of your current business, company branding. We have one big release that happened, that is the SharePoint Brand Center. This is where you manage your organization's brand holistically, starting with, of course, SharePoint sites and everything contained within. The SharePoint Brand Center introduces for you a central location so that you can manage and create brand assets for within Microsoft 365. The new Brand Center brings together the power of your organization assets and libraries and your organization's brand assets to create and manage product application of your brand within the Microsoft 365 products. And it happens all in one location while also providing a location to create product-specific brand application scenarios. Our goal from the SharePoint team to you is to empower brand managers or designated users to create and manage the brand assets needed to customize SharePoint and Viva connections, starting with custom fonts, colors and themes, and brand images. Once you've completed the setup of your Brand Center in SharePoint, you can manage access to the Brand Center app by customizing the site permissions of the Brand Center site. Site owners will have access to the Brand Center app. There is a great new blog by our friend and colleague of the show, Kathy Du, and that blog is titled Managing Your Organization's Brand with SharePoint Brand Center. A very apt title with a wonderful group of people behind it, bringing you a lot of great thinking all the way through a lot of development now available for your use. So check out the SharePoint Brand Center. And in the blog that I'll have related to this episode, you'll also see a really nice What Is It video from Kathy that she published out onto YouTube, and it's within the blog. But I'll have it in this blog so you can watch it in real time related to the Roadmap Pit Stop September 2024. That moves us into teamwork. The first item in teamwork is Copilot in OneDrive has reached general availability. That's GA. This is where Copilot brings the power of AI right into OneDrive to help you work more efficiently and effectively, specific to when you work with your files or those files that you have access to from your broader workspaces and work groups. There's a few use cases that start to make it a little bit more of a reality of, well, what can Copilot do in OneDrive? It can do things like generate summaries for large documents. It can compare differences between multiple documents. It can also answer questions specific to using files that you have access to. So think of it as really small language models, aka your documents, to then query and ask questions about that. Specifically, only the answers will come from those documents or that document that you're using Copilot within. And it can help you generate ideas for new documents. Not always the ChatGPT right from scratch, but certainly you could do that within Microsoft Word. But specifically, if you're looking to derive concepts or ideas using, again, that base of knowledge within your documents. The great news, if you didn't already get it, Copilot is now available in OneDrive for the web to all Copilot licensed commercial users, which is a big significant milestone for the way that you work with files in OneDrive. Similar to the previous item, there's a lot of content to pour through. There's a great new blog from our peer Arjun Tomar introducing Copilot in OneDrive, now generally available. Again, a great apt name of a blog post that's very specific to what you would expect to then read about and watch within the blog. There's also a webinar that's going to be a broader scope of what is OneDrive in this era of work and home, this new AI innovation era. That is on October 8th at 10 a.m. That's with Jeff Teeper, Jason Moore, and a number of the product leaders from the OneDrive team, talking a little bit about Copilot in OneDrive, not only this GA moment, but really setting you up to be aware of what else is coming in this new era of work. What's coming next for OneDrive? Again, that's a live webinar on October 8th, 10 a.m. Pacific time. I'll have all of that in the show notes in the blog, including the video where you can see a lot more of OneDrive with Copilot in action straight from the product makers themselves. So again, Copilot in OneDrive, now generally available. Next up is also a little bit about Copilot, but this is in SharePoint. You can now rewrite your SharePoint pages with Copilot in SharePoint, specifically in the text web part. This is version 1 that's rolling out now, and why not get a little help from when you are working on your next team newsletter or a broader campaign that you're anchoring as a SharePoint page? You'll now be able to use Copilot to quickly rewrite existing text on SharePoint pages or news posts, helping to ensure that your audience can engage with high-quality content, or when you just need a little extra oomph or polish to get a certain tone, or maybe to expand a little bit on an initial concept to make it a little bit more readable, or just to expand from existing content into something that then is consumable for your audience. You can review the text before replacing it. You can make it more concise or longer. You can have it auto rewrite the text. There are a number of things that you can do, like you can do with Copilot in a lot of places, but now it's right front and center in SharePoint pages when you're working within the text web part, so that you can have that web assistant right next to you while you're writing your communications. I'll put a little bit more information in the blog so that you can see it in action. And of course, there's a lot more to read. And what we hope is that you hear this and then go try it. Try out Copilot in your environment, specifically now starting to land in OneDrive and SharePoint. Which really brings us to related technology. There's a lot of related technology that was going out that I want to drill into a little bit here, because we had a really significant announcement for Microsoft 365 Copilot Wave 2. This was on September 16th, where we hosted a special event with two of our Microsoft leaders, that's Satya Nadella and Jared Spataro, who focused on articulating this next phase of Microsoft 365 Copilot innovation. We know that Copilot is rapidly becoming a part of your world, if not at least a part of the way you consider how you may work into the future, adding this organizing layer to your work of how work gets done, and hopefully transforming the way that you work, your workflow, the different artifacts and what you create. That what we're seeing, more than 400 million people who use Microsoft 365 as the potential to benefit from Copilot. To quote Satya, you can think of Copilot as the UI for AI. It helps break down these silos between your work artifacts, your communications, and your business processes. And we're just getting started. Beyond Satya's quote, you can see all of what Satya shared with Jared and a few other folks who demoed some of the new technology. There's a blog and a nice long-form webinar that is now on demand. But I wanted to take a moment just to highlight 4 of the announcements with a little additional context of how they relate to SharePoint and the related technologies that we often talk about on the Intrazone. The first is Copilot Pages. This one, not only off the page, but in the way that it was reacted and responded to, just from what I saw, a fairly well-received announcement. Copilot Pages offer a dynamic, persistent canvas that's designed for, quote, multiplayer AI collaboration, where you and your team can work collaboratively in a page with Copilot, seeing everyone's work in real time, and iterating with Copilot like a partner, adding more content from your data, files, and the web onto your page. And this is an entirely new work pattern, like a multiplayer human to AI to human collaboration. The grounded nature of this in terms of SharePoint is Copilot pages are .loop files. Copilot pages are stored in a new user-owned SharePoint embedded container, one per user. And for a full IT perspective on Copilot pages, I'll direct your attention to my peer, Dan Castanaro. He posted a new in-depth blog titled Copilot Pages for IT Admins, September 2024 Update. There's a lot of detail and information in that. So if you want to know a little bit more, not just what is a Copilot page, but what really is it within my tenant and how do I manage it, that's Dan Castanaro's blog. Item number 2 within the Wave 2 announcements is Copilot in Excel. This is where you can now work with data that hasn't been formatted as a table. We added new skills to tap into the full power of Excel with support for more formulas like XLOOKUP and SUMIF, conditional formatting, and the ability to iterate with Copilot on visualizations like charts and pivot tables to fit your need. And Copilot in Excel can now work with text in addition to numerical data. Also, this combines the power of Python, those snakes that I don't think Indiana Jones likes too much. But if you're a coder, you know what I mean. This is one of the world's most popular programming languages for working with data, and within Copilot in Excel, that experience, now anyone can work with Copilot to conduct advanced analysis like forecasting, risk analysis, machine learning, and visualizing complex data, all using natural language, no coding required. The next item that I want to highlight is Copilot in PowerPoint. This really derives through what we call Narrative Builder inside of Microsoft PowerPoint that helps you work with Copilot like a partner, iterating together to build a great first draft in minutes while keeping you in control of the creative process. There will be integration with that, as I highlighted earlier, with Brand Center, where Copilot can leverage your company's branded PowerPoint template so your presentations are enterprise ready and on brand. And soon, Copilot will pull in company approved images from your SharePoint organization asset library. Again, great combination of technology between SharePoint and Copilot through, now here in this example, through PowerPoint. Last, we're excited to announce that the public preview of Copilot agents in SharePoint. This is a new experience that enables any user to quickly create and share agents right from within SharePoint for specific purposes, and something that you can actually share after creating it in a Teams chat. So with a few clicks, you can create and share a Copilot agent in SharePoint. No coding skills required, all while respecting your organization's security policies. These agents can work on your behalf, answering questions about source material, reasoning over that material, and acting like a well-informed teammate. Again, Copilot agents in SharePoint will enter public preview in early October, so pretty soon, right about now. And a quick FYI, there's a couple articles that came out also through this 9/16 moment for the Copilot Wave 2. One specifically from Adam Harmitz and Jason Moore that's titled Create Copilot Agents in SharePoint and OneDrive. It's got a great rundown of all of what you can expect of this new wave of innovation coming with Copilot in SharePoint and OneDrive. Plus, we have an upcoming webinar with CJ Tan and Caruana Gatimu called Create and Share Copilot Agents in SharePoint in a Few Clicks. This is part of our Meet the Maker series, and it'll be on October 16th, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. Pacific time. To get there, if you want to check it out right now, is aka.ms/meetthemakers/SharePoint/Copilot agents. I'll, of course, have that link in the show notes. And there's also a really nice explainer video on that same page that you can see a couple of minutes of what is this Copilot agent in SharePoint thing, and then hear from the makers of and the product makers who are going to make it real on October 16th, 8 a.m. Pacific time. The InterZone is always full of bonus content, and Wave 2 has sort of come and hit and gone as far as the news cycle is concerned, but there is a totally tubular AI bonus item that is riding right along with Wave 2, and that is Bing Generative Search. I wanted to throw it in because it's always interesting to see what we're doing across both the enterprise and the web, and the blend of the two in terms of what you can then expect from Copilot, but in these different experiences might just be as you balance your work-life initiatives and tasks and just what you're trying to accomplish. Now, Bing utilizes AI to deliver a truly unique experience by not only optimizing the search results, but also how those results appear in a cohesive layout. What's nice is you can go to a blog that I will link to where you can explore and in real time go to Bing to see the look and feel and the capabilities of generative search in Bing. This is in the US currently. You just go to Bing and type in Bing Generative Search in the search bar. You'll be met with a carousel of queries to select and demo, allowing you to experience how generative search can and will deliver a more relevant and comprehensive answer experience across a wide range of topics. If you go there, you'll see a really nice example of searching to find a little bit of information about elephants, that then as you click through and find out more about, the canvas really does come alive as if you're querying Copilot, but without typing so much. It really is just exploring and expanding on how much content do you want to learn about elephants or whatever topic you choose. And as it drills in, it gives you a really nice look into what it is your answer is. Not just a blue link, not just a relevant blue link, but actual real research that you can do on the page. So again, that is Bing Generative Search just on the heels of Wave 2, which means we're going to hop out of Copilot's Wave 2. The shore break is just breaking, which means we're going to jump in after Hanging 10 into something a little bit more loopier. And that is the Loop Learning series, which we've talked about a few times on the InterZone, had a 6th episode, and specifically wanted to call out that, of course, you can access all 6 parts now. Now, the sneaky 6th episode was billed mostly as a standalone webinar because it holds a lot of value, and it's titled Microsoft Loop IT Governance and Management Controls. That was with Dan Costanaro, the same gentleman who wrote the Copilot Pages blog, with 2 of his peers, Abhi Suresh and Akanshka Rakesh. This is now on demand if you go to aka.ms/msloop/governance. And besides emphasizing the series and the value of learning about Loop more deeply, is really there are a lot of great things that you can learn by seeing what it is that you can do today, both as an end user. Really, episodes 1 through 4 are ideal for learning what can you do with Loop. And then from an IT perspective, you can dive into this latest episode to see what Loop can do, plus SharePoint, and provide clarity on when you think of where are loops stored, to get details on the data lifecycle governance of a loop or a workspace or a page, or things like auditing, e-discovery, DLP, sensitivity labels, how you leverage all this and use PowerShell to accomplish what you're trying to do. It's all in there and more, plus additional resources so you can learn how to do that. It's all relatively new capabilities in terms of Loop, based on a lot of tried and true technologies that have been in SharePoint, ultimately where the loops are stored, so you can expect a lot of those common patterns and practices when it comes to managing and controlling your Loop assets. For all of this, we updated Ron Pestner's blog with each episode embedded in it. You just go to aka.ms/msloop/series/blog. That's where you will find Ron's blog. He is the Loop CVP here at Microsoft, and it now represents a wealth of knowledge across the whole of the team. A lot of product managers leaned in to bring a lot of great content and insights, and of course a lot of visual candy so you can see what it is that is most recently available in Loop and how to manage it. This next one is a little sensitive area because it's never fun to talk about retiring content or retiring different apps and services. But this one has been messaged through the Message Center, and I wanted to uplevel it here on the InterZone as well. The fact that on December 16th, 2024, the product service Delve will be retired. And when we say we're retiring Delve, it's important to note that we're not changing or retiring anything on the services side, and certainly not on the content side. Both documents and people data that are surfaced in Delve will continue to be stored and managed as today. Nothing about what you have in Microsoft 365 changes. It's really just the application Delve. And as much of the value that carries forward in the broader people profile experience, what we call people cards, these are throughout Microsoft 365, including some of the upcoming people card updates that will enable you to do effectively everything that you could do on your Delve profile. What carries forward are a lot of either new or existing pervasive technologies like Microsoft Search, the people cards like I mentioned, interacting with Copilot, what you can do with favorites in OneDrive, and more. All of this lives beyond Delve, and it's often closer to where you are working already. Now, any Delve-specific data lists, such as the lists of users that recently viewed in Delve, Delve favorite documents, Delve favorite tags, all of this can be exported before December 16th, 2024 in Delve by going and selecting Settings, Feature Settings, Export Data, if you want to retain any of those lists of information. Again, the core content doesn't move and does not go away. So after December 16th, 2024, Delve will no longer be included in Microsoft 365 and will no longer be supported. Until then, support for Delve will continue and users can expect the same experience as today. Just a little personal history here. I was fortunate to market Delve as a product manager a little while ago and for a time, taking over where my colleague Jem Aiken had started it all. And the work that carries forward is homed in a very creative, innovative team that dates back to the experts that came into Microsoft via the FAST acquisition. This was the genesis of the search foundation technologies in SharePoint today. Delve was the very first Microsoft application to take advantage of how you visualize the Microsoft graph connected to search. And now that value is seemingly everywhere across Microsoft 365. There isn't anything that doesn't have a dynamic feel to it or the ability to show you what's relevant to you based on what you work on and who you work with. It is hard to say goodbye to an old friend, and in this case, I'm confident and comforted that all the learning and technical value does pay forward and live on within Microsoft 365. So 3 cheers for Delve. May it retire in comfort knowing that it has paved the way for a more dynamic intranet and a more collaborative experience that you have and feel beyond Delve. All right, last related item, one that is both specific and ripe with future opportunity, that is the Microsoft AI Tour, both the whole tour itself across many, many cities and part of the tour that our team is leaning into that we call AI Tour Live. We had our first stop of the AI Tour Live, what we call Episode 1, from Mexico City. This was on September 24th, 2024. And this episode is now available to view on demand. It's easy to find if you go to aka.ms/Microsoft AI Tour Live. It's a great episode. Take you behind the scenes with interviews and an inside view across the whole of the Microsoft AI Tour event experience. Again, this one grounded in Mexico City. Akosua and Caruana, who are our hosts, bring you exclusive interviews and insights from speakers, partners, and MVPs as they're gathered together during the AI Tour to learn about and share more about AI, Copilot, and more. In the specific episode, you will hear interviews with Christian Vinay, who is our COO and CMO of Microsoft Mexico, Hiram Monroy Roca, who is a senior manager with our partner AMD, Victor Cabrera Crias, who is a sales director from Adobe in Mexico, and a local MVP and CEO, Fatima Blancas. They're great interviews. You'll get a great insight not only about the event, but what's on top of mind for specific people in these specific regions when it comes to AI and Copilot. You can follow all the action on Twitter if you just go to X or twitter.com/events_MSFT. That's the main event handle from Microsoft. Or you can go to the Microsoft AI Tour home by going to aitour.microsoft.com. We are planning 2 future episodes with Akosua and our new guest host, Heather Cook, for both upcoming AI tour stops in Paris and Berlin. So keep an eye out for future episodes of the AI Tour Live. And if you can make it in person to one of the AI Tour stops across the world, I highly, highly recommend it. There's a lot of great content that is available to you, a lot of great experts on hand to bat around ideas, to ask questions, and to provide feedback. And it's a big effort from Microsoft to put on the tour, and we hope you take advantage of it either live, in person, or check out the AI Tour Live to see what it's all about and to make sure that you know a lot of the content and the concepts that are coming through this AI tour. All right, with that, let us move on to October 2024 teasers. It's time to move into the near future, one that predicts with high certainty what is coming around the corners of our collective calendars. Here are 2 teasers for what's coming in October 2024. Teaser number 1, enhancements to the text web part. Now, you might be saying, Mark, I thought you already told us about some of the text web part innovation. Well, that is true. That was Copilot related. This is now just an update to the different capabilities within the text web part at its core, with or without AI. The ability to set custom font colors, add or remove spacing with a little bit more specificity, new quote style options, and more. That is, enhancements to the text web part in SharePoint. Teaser number 2, the new planner for the web is coming. It's coming. It's what you would expect if you've been using the new planner experience in Teams, but now it's a part of the web experience. If you go to the app launcher, click on Planner. When you get there, that is the new planner in the web experience coming soon. And that's it with this month's Peek Ahead. We'll share more details and other updates within the SharePoint Roadmap Pit Stop October 2024 edition next month. We've added a lot more Learn links for everything that we talked about, the different features, the different shows, the different opportunities, webinars, and whatnot, plus a list of important resources in the show notes and the corresponding blog post on the Microsoft Tech community published to the SharePoint community blog. I hope you've enjoyed this Roadmap Pit Stop. Time to give you the all clear to get back out there on the racetrack of life, aka it's time to move forward knowing that you are all caught up. If anything still leaves you scratching your head with open questions or concerns, please send us your thoughts and comments to theintrazone@microsoft.com. We're here to put our and your best change management foot forward, and we thank you for taking that step with us into the cloud month after month. This is Mark Cashman saying, get ready to customize your intranet brand with Copilot as your web program assistant on the roadmap ahead.